Hello, and welcome to This Is My Life podcast. My crazy story is called When the Cook Gets Cooked. So, first of all, who likes to cook? What do you cook? Have you ever burned yourself while you're cooking? Has your food ever splattered the butter, the oil? Has it ever done anything crazy? I want to hear your story. Have you ever burned yourself cooking? What do you like to cook? And tell me your story. If you get a hold of me, we can do your story on my podcast. That would be cool too. Message me, get a hold of me somehow. But I would like to know in the comments if you have burned yourself, if you can relate to my story, and if my story made you laugh. I apologize ahead of time for laughing because I'm not going to be able to tell this story with a straight face. It is completely ridiculous. So, I'm cooking breakfast. I'm standing in the kitchen. I like to make an egg in the morning because it is good for the mind. It's good for the body. We can start off right. We start off focused, and that is your energy in the morning. Well, that is what I naturally do in the morning is I think I'm going to cook an egg. Generally, it's right before I have to leave, and it's just not an ideal time. So this is one of those non-ideal times where something crazy happens and I just had to talk about it. So I wanted to cook my egg. I'm getting it ready. Also with my egg, I like to have leftovers. If I have my leftovers that were really good and I'm thinking that would be good with my egg, I put it in the pan first and I heat it up. Well, this time I had steak and chicken and they were big chunks. They were delicious. So I dropped them in there. There was zucchini and onion. I dropped those in there. Well, it was mixed with rice and a little bit of rice fell into the pan too, and I'm okay with that. It's cooking in butter and it's doing its thing, frying, browning. Well, rice, as we know, when it is not covered, it tends to jump around a little bit and it tends, to get wild while it's cooking. Well, so did mine. I'm standing in the kitchen over the pan and I'm wearing a tank top. So my shoulders are exposed. The oil is popping and I'm like, ow, that's burning me. If you could relate to this, say that too. So the oil is popping. My rice jumps off the pan onto my shoulder and I don't realize it until my shoulder starts hurting and I'm stirring it around and I look at my shoulder to see why it's hurting and there's a piece of rice on it and the rice is cooking my shoulder. So when the cook gets cooked, okay, my rice is cooking on my shoulder. I take it off and I finish cooking my egg but I'm thinking over the pan. I'm like, how am I going to tell this story to anybody else without sounding completely ridiculous? Well, at this point, it's already gone too far, and now you know too much about my personal life. But if you could relate to this, please say so. If you have been burned by your food while you are cooking and you can relate to this, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thank you for listening to my podcast. The weirdest stuff happens to me. I don't even know how. That's how I became a storyteller because my life is so crazy. Okay, again, thank you for listening to my podcast. The end of the story is I finished eating, so there really isn't much else to say. The whole point of it was I burned myself while I was cooking and my food landed on my shoulder. If anybody can relate to that, please let me know how ridiculous I am. Thank you for listening to my story. Comment and share and let everybody else hear this story, please. Thank you.